good, YouTube? Today we're going to be reacting to Victor Wembanyama just grew 2 more inches and the NBA is terrified. Bro, if this has to be clickbait, bro. Because last we heard he was 7'4". If this nigga is 7'6", bro, it's done. It's done, bro.
Victor Wembanyama is the singular greatest prospect in NBA draft history.
You gotta get ready for this kid, you know. He's gonna be really good.
Kevin Durant needs Rudy Gobert.
Everybody's been recruiting the last few years. It was like hey, for sure, a generational talent.
He's really in trouble when he comes in.
I'm happy that I'm not gonna be in the league.
He's rail thin, and then that makes me think of Greg Oden saying Bowie.
He gonna be playing against grown men. He gonna have to guard those guys on the other end also.
Chet Holmgren that ain't even playing this year because he's out injured.
That's
There's
a fact.
some trepidation.
Just cause he's killing people over at the Czech Republic, that he's gonna come over here and dominate.
Nigga said Czech.
Victor Wembanyama has reportedly grown from 7'3" to 7'5", and his wingspan has gone from 7'9" to 8 feet. What are we even talking about? We have already seen what Victor Wembanyama is capable of. What looks like levels of basketball we have never seen before. Wembanyama has never stepped foot on an NBA basketball court, but already we have watched as he has perhaps given us a sneak peek into the NBA's future. A glance into what basketball one day could look like if a guy like Victor
That man Scoot almost
Wembanyama
dunked on him
puts
too.
it
That
all
was crazy.
together. The size, the skill set, the basketball IQ, the athleticism, the drive, the need to showcase his ability, and the competitiveness to take on anyone in his way. When it comes to the perfect basketball prospect, it is possible that Victor Wembanyama is quite literally that guy. But yet, we have Charles Barkley saying this.
Everybody wants this kid. It look like he's great, but you really can't tell until you get to the NBA. I mean, he's gonna be playing against grown men. He's gonna have to guard those guys on the other end also. Just cause he's killing people over at the Czech Republic, that he's gonna come over here and dominate. I just don't believe it.
And over the course of time, several NBA teenagers have taken a season or two to get adjusted to life in the league, while others not so much. So while it is possible that Victor Wembanyama will have an Anthony Davis-like first season where he needs a bit of strength to get prepared for the NBA, I would say that the evidence here suggests that that is not likely. Because what's up, guys? Mike here, and today we are speaking on the recent news that somehow Victor Wembanyama is, yes, standing now at 7'5" in shoes. I do want to make that distinction in shoes, but it was reported that he was 7'3" in shoes before. That is what we were being told, that he is grown.
They all playing shoes.
And also, he's added 3 inches to his wingspan, something that might seem unbelievable, but the thing is, over the course of NBA history, we have actually seen this story before. The prospect who is borderline elite even headed into the NBA draft, and then they keep growing even when they're in the NBA. But before we continue, guys, I am very excited to say that this video is sponsored with $100 will bet on with Draft or Zembo. The NBA should be on alert with this Victor Wembanyama news because, again, not only have we seen this before, but we've seen it with some of the NBA's brightest stars. Paul George entered the NBA at 6'8". It was then said that as a young player, he grew 2 inches to 6'10", and he's now regarded as one of the best two-way players of this generation. Anthony Davis also famously added at least an inch to his height in his career, and a few years ago, it was said by his teammate Dylan Brooks that Jaren Jackson Jr. grew 2 inches. But perhaps the most famous example of them all comes in the form of Kevin Durant, who entered the NBA at 6'9" and then continued to grow to close to 7 feet tall. So again, the fact that Victor Wembanyama is still growing is not only believable here, but also, what if we see this man / teenager grow another 2 inches while he is in the league? What if he gets up to 7'7" and he's mobile? That is an absurd thought, but we cannot predict the future. What we can do is take a look at Chuck's statement from earlier and see if it has any merit. Because to be fair, recently Victor Wembanyama has struggled in some games, and just because he's growing just because he's become taller does not automatically mean that he is still performing at the level of a top pick. Recently, Victor struggled, shot 3 for 13 in a blowout loss against his former team, but all you will see from that game are highlights of him. So at the end of the day here, what is really going on in France when Victor is playing against now professional competition? And because he is regarded as a generational prospect, we are of course going to be comparing Victor Wembanyama to Luka Doncic. Luka is the greatest international prospect we have ever seen, or at least he was. And it is here that the numbers do not lie. It is very clear that as a prospect in the EuroLeague, at least 2 years out from the NBA, Luka performed a bit better. By the way, guys, I am on the grind to 2 million subs here, so if you are enjoying this video, it would be awesome if you could subscribe and turn on post notifications. Now back to the video. Victor averaged 6.4 points a game and 3.9 rebounds, while Luka, he averaged 7.8 points, 4.2 assists, and 4.5 rebounds a game. What really mattered, back to the video. Victor averaged 6.4 points a game and 3.9 rebounds, while Luka, he averaged 7.8 points, 4.2 assists, and 4.5 rebounds a game. What really mattered more and what really made Luka the generational prospect that he was, despite not getting picked number 1, was the improvement we saw between the ages of 18 and 19. In his last season playing international basketball, Luka's numbers rose tremendously and he became the youngest EuroLeague MVP to ever live. Meanwhile, Wemby did not play in the EuroLeague this season, so we do not have a direct stat comparison to go off of. However, we are able to see the progress
so where did he play
game when we dive into his professional play in France's top league. Because in the top national league in France last season, Wemby averaged just 8.3 points per game and 4.5 rebounds per night. Absolutely great numbers for a teenager, but for a generational prospect playing in France, I think we can all agree we would expect a bit more, and that is exactly what we've seen. This season, Victor Wembanyama has averaged 21.5 points and 9.4 rebounds per game in the top league in France. That means in just one season, we have seen before our eyes Wemby go from a pretty solid player in his league in France to the best player in the entire league. He is leading in points per game, rebounds per game, blocks per game, and PER. On top of this, recently, playing for the French national team, this is how he performed.
Upstairs for the throwdown of Wembanyama. Nice take by Alda. Blocked by Wembanyama. Wembanyama ball screen. Picks and pops on the three-point line. Fires up the three. Feeding it from the three-point line. Back-to-back threes.
Despite this, he had 22 of his team's 72 points and also had 17 rebounds, 6 blocks, and 4 steals against the Czech Republic. That is absolutely wild, and I think it's truly remarkable that the more and more we see about Victor Wembanyama, it just feels like the man is becoming a living myth. One of Victor's former teammates was quoted as saying, "I've seen him make 5 threes with the right hand in a row, switch to the left, and make 5 threes. That's the craziest shit I had ever seen in my life." Those are the kind of stories that we hear from Victor Wembanyama over in France. That is what we are about to experience when he is finally in the NBA. I, for one, cannot wait because I do truly believe that he is going to be one of the best rookies we have ever seen. I truly do believe that. Especially if he is coming in at 7'5". We have a mobile, 3-point shooting, French, not created in a lab, Yao Ming. That is true.
Oh, so him and Cheddar gonna go at it for Rookie of the Year. Because Cheddar gonna play his first season next year.
Please subscribe and turn on post notifications.
Next season's gonna be tough.
If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day, guys.
As you end the video, great video,
if you're still
man.
here while the music is cued,
Great video. Make sure y'all go tap in with Mike Corzenda, man. He drops amazing content. So yeah, but that's the end of the video. If y'all like that, make sure you leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.